or not, I used to be a terrible public speaker. My arms used to shake, my legs used to shake. I had to hold on to the podium in order to make sure that I couldn't fall. The first time I ever spoke was at my bar mitzvah. My father, wanting to make sure that I wowed the crowd and impressed everyone with my public speaking ability, brought me to Detour. It's this huge shul in Teaneck, and he put me at the front, right next to the podium, and he said, "Speak. But remember, project your voice, and make sure to look up from the paper every once in a while so that you're actually speaking and not just reading." And he went to sit in the back, and I began to speak. I presented my points, and in the middle of my speech, he started to make goat noises. And I just lost it. I started cracking up. I could not go on. And he got up, he came over to me smiling, and he said, "Ben, the key to being a good public speaker is to make sure that you are ready for anything. There are never going to be ideal situations for public speaking. There's always going to be that guy in the back whispering to other people. There are always going to be noises coming from the building, whether it's electricity or annoying air conditioning humming. Something is going to interrupt you, and you have to make sure to deal with it." Over the past few weeks in Sefer Vayikra, we've been preparing ourselves. We've been learning the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to us, and we've been building on our ideals and how we should be as a nation. And yet, after so much preparation, after so much work, it seems like the point of it all was just sidelined. Going to Eretz Yisrael, going into the land that was by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to our forefathers, the reason why we were freed from Mitzrayim, and yet that's completely sidelined for this completely, seemingly pointless Sefer. The beginning of the Sefer Bamidbar, Parshat Bamidbar, we see this idea of counting. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to count the Jewish people. And not only count the Jewish people, but also show them how to properly camp when they're in the desert. So why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu cast us into the desert? Why not bring us immediately into Eretz Yisrael? And what exactly is the connection between Sefer Vayikra and Sefer Bamidbar? And how does Parshat Bamidbar, the idea of counting, the idea of setting up this camp, create the segue between them? Why is Parshat Bamidbar the first Sefer Bamidbar besides the name, obviously? Well, Rashi in Parshat Bamidbar comments on the counting. He says that the counting was not for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's calculation, but a demonstration of his affection for his people. He wants to show the people that he cares for them, that he loves them. And I think this shows the shift of HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the king that we became so familiar with in Sefer Vayikra, the one who gave us laws, the one who gave us ideals to follow in society, to that of Father, a person who cares for us, a person who loves us. And that's why he helped us set up the camp. In order to help us be able to deal with life on our own, in order to be able to protect ourselves, in order to look out for each other, and not just have to rely on him. Why? Because part of loving and caring is not just pampering and making sure that everything is okay and that you love life. Loving and caring for someone is also making sure that they are prepared, that they are ready for the love, for what the world is going to bring onto them, because it's going to bring a lot. Life is not easy, and a father's role is to make sure that you are prepared for that. So when we re-examine everything that happened, yes, we built up our ideals in Sefer Vayikra, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as our Father, wanted to make sure that we kept to His Torah, that we made sure to keep His ideals. And what was the best way to do that? By putting us in a desert, by bringing up challenges that we weren't going to be used to, by making sure that every single day we had to deal with something new, that we were always ready, that we were always prepared, that the potential that lied within us became a reality. And that's why He counted us beforehand. That's why counting serves as a segue between these two sfar. Because counting shows that He loves and cares for us before He does the tough love. When it was finally time for me to speak at my bar mitzvah, I did a pretty good job. I mean, I was 13, shaking, and instead of projecting, I was screaming. And instead of looking up, I was kind of looking down at the paper the whole time, but that's okay. Because it was just a starting point, it was just a liftoff point. I started working on myself after that. But the starting point for all of that work was my father making animal noises in the background. We are at the beginning of a new age, a new year for us. We've built on ourselves, we've worked on ourselves for an entire year. What we've become is amazing, what we can become even more so. We don't understand the amount of potential that lies within us in order to beat the rocks back, in order to hit back, in order to become who we truly can be. And if you fail, and if you feel like God is against you and the world is against you, then I want you to remember the following. That He counted us. He counted us to show us that He loves us. He counted us to show us that He cares for us. And part of that loving and part of that caring is to test us, is to push us to be better people so that we can be stronger forevermore.